This video is about Linux. Why do I like Linux and my experience with Linux. So in the past I have used Windows 95, a very old operating system, which at the time I think is quite a good OS. Okay, but it has too few useful tools for university study. Okay, when I was studying in university, I use Windows 95, so I have to install Turbo Pascal, Turbo C in order to really go through my assignments. Okay, without these tools, I basically can't do anything. At the time, I think in preparing final year project report, I have to just use WordPad. Okay, there is a WordPad at the time, but to type more things, the only software I can use is Microsoft Word in the university computer. However, I face great trouble using Microsoft Word in the university because from one computer to the other, the layout would actually change. Okay, although it's the same Word program, it's changing. Okay, that really makes me feeling bad. Okay, using Microsoft products. And at the time I was trying to find other software which could possibly replace Word, okay, which performs a better typesetting for my report. So yeah, later on I'll mention about this. Okay, so these days we have a lot of amazing YouTubers on introducing the power of Linux. Okay, like Luke Smith. I always watch his video. It's really amazing. And also DistroTube DT, he demonstrates a lot of various distributions, which is nice. Okay, to see how different people actually use Linux. Okay, my style is a bit old style. Okay, that's why to add on to what Luke Smith tries to portray the power of Linux, I would just say that the reason to use Linux is because of its being old style. Okay, okay. In the past, I read a Unix book, which is I think written around 1990s or some before that. Okay, the basic idea behind that it's used until now. Okay, which is something I really like, because I hate tools which are always changing. Okay, Windows is such an example, which it is shifting towards the smartphone style application or touchpad style application, which for me I find it rather annoying. Okay, so why Linux? Okay, because it's old style. Okay, it has a lot of useful development tools. Okay, that's the main reason. So what sort of distros have I tried? Oh, I've tried quite many. Okay, the first Linux distro I tried, I think is Slackware version 6 or so. Is it version 2? I'm not sure about it. Okay, during 1997 around the time, because I managed to get a friend's laptop, okay, which allows me to actually install the Slackware. Okay, too bad the main problem with Slackware is X window at the time, the support is really very poor, and I know very little about the command line. So okay, so after install, then that's all. Okay, later on I still want to play with Linux, okay, when I have my own desktop, okay, and I think at the time is internet is not available. The only way to get Linux is actually to buy a book. So I actually saw Springer's book, which is called Power Linux. So I actually just bought the book, and apparently this book is English translation of the German version. Okay, anyway, a CD is available, so I can just follow the instructions in the book, and then yeah, I learned about partitioning my disk drive, and then install Power Linux. And I have been using Power Linux for probably definitely more than 1 year. Okay. And until I went abroad to continue my study, and at the time I use Red Hat 6, which is okay. It doesn't. I mean, it has all the basic tools. What else? It has all the basic tools for normal development, like GCC. Okay, I think that the time is GCC 2.95 or something like that. Okay, it's enough to compile a lot of things, and yeah, at the time I use Vim or something like that to actually edit my files. Okay, so I think at the time I start learning Vim. Okay, when I was using Power Linux, the main tool which I'm using is actually Joe's editor. Okay, which I'll mention it later. So yeah, after completing my university study, I came back home installing still Red Hat 6. Okay, and when I got my internet connection, I started to think download more Linux distributions, and I tried out Fedora. I don't really like it because of the SE Linux. It's very powerful. It's a very powerful tool, okay, for Linux security, but I mean, for an individual user, okay, doing stuff, preparing for work, it's really not very convenient. So yeah, okay, I changed to Ubuntu. Okay, in the beginning I have Ubuntu with GNOME 2. Okay, I like it, and but later on I think Ubuntu changed to GNOME 3, which I really dislike. So yeah, okay, so later on I think I continue with Ubuntu Mate until when, okay, yeah, I have also tried Debian problem with Debian is the software tools rather lagging, and Ubuntu is more or less having all the Debian tools. So yeah, okay, I didn't use Debian very much. Okay, so until I discovered Arch Linux, I switched to Arch Linux, and I've been using it for a long time. I think how many years? At least more than 4 or 5 years. Okay, I use it before it has systemd. Okay, when it's still using the init and system5 init scripts. Okay, I have been using it, and then an upgrade actually move it to become systemd based. I think I'm still quite okay with it, but as I tried the even newer versions, okay, the systemd is actually increasing in size every half a year. Okay, until there's a stage where I don't want to update the JSON library, but I upgrade the systemd, and this caused the whole system to not able to boot, because systemd depends on a JSON library. Okay, and I'm not really too happy with systemd since then. Okay, and then I think it's somewhere around a few years ago, Linux Mint came out, and it's very convenient. Oh, it has a very nice desktop. Okay, the Cinnamon desktop. I think it's Linux Mint 18, and so I'm really happy with the Cinnamon desktop for that version. And then I mean, I think this year or last year, okay, 2019, okay, the new, I think, or this year, okay, an update is available, and the Cinnamon desktop, okay, after the update, there are some issues with the Cinnamon desktop, and Cinnamon desktop seems to have how should I put it, it sometimes can just hang the whole desktop because of the keyboard handler, keyboard event handler, basically just hang there, okay, using up all the CPUs, and so I decided to try out XFCE, which is the current desktop which I'm recording this video, and I find it much better. So yeah, okay, so yeah, Linux Mint FSCE, okay, it's the current main desktop that I'm using. Okay, and I started to try out Artix Linux, which Luke suggested in one of his where's Luke? Okay, where Luke actually suggested in one of his video on YouTube. So yeah, I just download and give it a try, and installation is more or less similar to Arch Linux. So yeah, I just install OpenRC. Okay, there are other two kinds of init system. I don't really need to boot into a desktop. Okay, I still use FVWM, very old window manager. Okay, so yeah, I'm quite happy with it. It's slightly slower compared to systemd, okay, during boot up. Okay, but it has less dependencies, which I'm quite happy with it. So for distribution, one of the important things to have is always the editors. In Windows, okay, in the old days, I think the only editor I have is basically what, the Turbo Pascal editor, okay, for writing some codes for university assignments. Or okay, what else do I have? I have edit, okay, which I can edit the text file. Anything else? I think, yeah, Notepad. Notepad is not really very nice. Okay.